The hip-hop world has officially crossed into a terrifying point of no return, and the audio that has just leaked from the deepest, most secure corners of the music industry has left the entire culture in an absolute state of horror. What you're about to hear is not a rap verse, a calculated publicity stunt, or a scene from a Hollywood movie. This is the literal, unedited, and completely devastating sound of Atlanta's undisputed king of the South, Clifford T.I. Harris, completely breaking down, weeping in total isolation after realizing his multi-million-dollar retirement rollout has been completely demolished. For the past 24 hours, an underground audio file has been circulating through encrypted networks, capturing T.I. in a state of raw, unadulterated heartbreak. He thought he could use his final studio album, Kill the King, to quietly secure his legacy and walk away from the game on his own terms. But he underestimated the absolute ruthlessness of his greatest rival. 50 Cent did not just respond to T.I.'s musical provocations. He executed a cold-blooded, multi-layered psychological execution that has systematically ruined T.I.'s rollout, turned his household into a public war zone, and left a 25-year legacy in literal ashes. Do not blink, do not pause, and do not turn away, because we are breaking down the most shocking betrayal in hip-hop history right now. To understand how a living legend like T.I. could be reduced to weeping behind closed doors, you have to look at the massive, unstable fault lines that have existed beneath his empire for over 2 decades. Clifford Harris spent 25 years engineering a legacy that defined the modern era of Southern hip-hop. Emerging from the brutal street corners of West Atlanta, he didn't just survive the trap. He corporate packaged it, transformed it into a global export, and proudly crowned himself the king of the South. He built Grand Hustle into a multi-million-dollar kingdom, transitioned seamlessly into a Hollywood actor, and sold the world an aspirational, family-friendly reality television brand. T.I. wanted his final chapter to be an unassailable monument of dignity. He designed his 12th and final studio album, Kill the King, to be a flawless artistic victory lap, a clean exit from the rap game that would immortalize his name on his own pristine terms. He believed his legacy was bulletproof, insulated by decades of chart-topping hits and corporate alliances. What he completely failed to realize was that in the brutal, hyper-competitive jungle of hip-hop elite, declaring your own retirement while holding onto a crown is an invitation for absolute assassination. Enter Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, the undisputed godfather of digital psychological warfare and reputational destruction. 50 Cent does not operate by the traditional rules of rap battles. He operates on a doctrine of total structural demolition. The bad blood between these two titans isn't new. It has been simmering in a dark, toxic ocean of unresolved competitive malice since the mid-2000s, when both men were fighting for absolute dominance over the culture. The friction violently reignited in early 2026 when T.I. publicly summoned 50 Cent for a historic versus battle, confidently claiming that the New York mogul was ducking the smoke. To T.I., it was a standard musical challenge. To 50 Cent, it was a declaration of war. Instead of heading to the recording studio to trade bars, 50 Cent instantly bypassed the music industry and launched a multi-layered psychological blitzkrieg directly at T.I.'s household. He systematically weaponized the internet, posting deeply personal, unflattering images of T.I.'s wife, Tiny Harris, and aggressively mocking his family. The conflict rapidly deteriorated from an industry debate into raw, unhinged warfare as T.I.'s adult sons, King and Domani, rushed to defend their mother's honor, unleashing volatile diss tracks that targeted 50 Cent's deceased mother. The internet went into an absolute frenzy as T.I. responded with 4 relentless musical salvos, including tracks like Lessons and War, trying desperately to fight a ghost on his phone with vintage street poetry. T.I. thought his lyrical sharpness would protect his kingdom. He thought that by dropping elite bars, he could force a traditional retreat. But he was playing checkers against a man who specializes in burning the entire board down. This catastrophic clash was completely inevitable. For 20 years, these two men occupied opposite poles of power, one chasing Hollywood validation and structural peace, the other thriving in the absolute darkest, chaotic corners of public destruction. By naming his final retirement project Kill the King, T.I. unknowingly handed his greatest rival the exact psychological script needed to dismantle his life. 50 Cent didn't just want to win a debate. He wanted to ensure that the King of the South's final rollout wasn't a celebration, but a public execution that would leave his legacy entirely in ruins. And as the financial walls of Grand Hustle began to crack under the pressure, T.I. was about to discover that 50 Cent's master plan involved a secret, internal betrayal that would change the trajectory of his entire life forever. Now, let us step directly into the dark heart of this unfolding catastrophe and look at the exact moment the kingdom completely cracked. The definitive flashpoint that shattered Clifford Harris's world did not happen on a public stage, in front of a radio microphone, or during a carefully managed press conference. It happened behind the heavily fortified, double-locked doors of an undisclosed private corporate safehouse in the elite suburbs of Atlanta. The date was just weeks ago, deep into the high-stakes rollout for Kill the King. T.I. had summoned his absolute inner circle, his top-tier executives, his emergency public relations team, and his criminal defense attorneys for an emergency midnight assembly. The atmosphere in that room was described by deep industry insiders as a psychological horror scene. The air was thick with smoke, phones were ringing off the hook on absolute silent vibration, and multi-million-dollar tech executives were sweating through their bespoke suits. Someone in that very room, someone T.I. had trusted with his life, his money, and his deepest secrets, had their smartphone quietly recording under the table. And the underground audio file that escaped those four walls is a profound emotional tragedy that has permanently altered the landscape of modern hip-hop. In this chilling recording, the characteristic, hyper-articulate, and fiercely confident cadence of the self-proclaimed King of the South is completely gone. There is no bravado. There are no multi-syllabic vocabulary words designed to outsmart his opponents. Instead, you're forced to listen to a 45-year-old street pioneer completely stripped of his pride, his masculine armor, and his legacy, weeping with a raw, gasping vulnerability that will send an immediate shiver down your spine. Over the chaotic ambient sound of heavy legal folders slamming onto glass tables and the frantic murmurs of panicked assistants, T.I.'s voice breaks into a jagged, agonizing sob as he screams at the top of his lungs. He can be heard weeping openly, shouting that he built the very concrete platform the entire Southern rap industry is eating off of today, only to watch Curtis Jackson systematically turn his life into a digital circus. In the leaked tape, T.I. desperately cries out about the sheer torment his household has endured since the conflict began, stating that his wife Tiny cannot even glance at a screen without seeing millions of internet trolls aggressively mocking her appearance, while his 21-year-old son King Harris is being paraded across TikTok as a laughingstock following his viral Cybertruck arrest. He explicitly weeps that Kill the King was supposed to be his triumphant, peaceful exit to protect his grandchildren, but 50 Cent has completely suffocated the rollout, leaving him stranded in a room full of useless corporate suits while his entire financial infrastructure bleeds out in real time. To hear a man who conquered the music industry reduce himself to absolute tears of helplessness is a deeply jarring experience for any fan who remembers the golden era of Grand Hustle. But how did 50 Cent manage to inflict this level of psychological and financial devastation without ever stepping foot into a recording booth to trade actual diss tracks? This brings us directly to the first massive, jaw-dropping twist that has left the entire music industry in a state of absolute horror. The public foolishly believed that 50 Cent was merely playing a game of petty internet memes on his Instagram page. In reality, the memes were nothing more than a brilliant, tactical smokescreen designed to keep the public distracted while 50 Cent executed a cold-blooded, multi-million-dollar corporate decapitation behind closed doors. 50 Cent did not just look to hurt T.I.'s feelings. He went directly for the jugular of the Kill the King financial engine. High-level insider intelligence has just confirmed that 50 Cent discovered a fatal, catastrophic vulnerability in T.I.'s independent distribution contracts and master recording funding. Working through shadow investment groups and high-powered media conglomerates in New York, 50 Cent quietly bought out a massive, predatory debt leverage option tied directly to the independent platforms designated to launch and amplify T.I.'s final album. The moment 50 Cent acquired that financial leverage, he pulled the plug on the entire operation. Simultaneously, 50 Cent took the official, unedited police body cam footage of King Harris's tense roadside standoff and sent it directly to the ethics and compliance boards of 3 major Fortune 500 tech and lifestyle companies that had originally signed on to subsidize T.I.'s lucrative multi-city farewell stadium tour. Within an agonizing 48-hour window, every single corporate sponsor pulled their funding, citing immense brand liability and moral clauses. T.I. was left completely trapped, holding a massive, multi-million-dollar bill for a global album rollout that now had zero corporate backing, zero streaming platform amplification, and a public image that was being ruthlessly dismantled hour by hour. But as devastating as that financial ruin is, the situation gets infinitely worse, landing a psychological blow that T.I. may never recover from. As digital forensic experts began analyzing the exact audio signature of the leaked crying tape to trace how it hit underground servers, they uncovered a dark, terrifying truth. The audio file was not intercepted by an outside group of elite international hackers, and it was not leaked via a security breach on an executive's email server. The digital encryption code on the file reveals it was captured by a highly sophisticated recording device positioned directly inside T.I.'s inner family perimeter. Think about the bone-chilling weight of that revelation. Clifford Harris is not just fighting an unhinged, multi-layered war against a genius rival in New York. He is actively harboring a calculated, highly paid informant inside his own bloodline, a real-world traitor who sits at his dinner table, listens to his legal strategies, and watches his private tears. Insider reports claim that 50 Cent's associates offered an astronomical, life-changing 6-figure payout to someone deeply embedded within the Harris household, waiting for the exact millisecond T.I. completely lost his mental composure so they could weaponize his broken spirit against him. T.I. is standing in a kingdom where his own circle has been bought and paid for, and as the countdown to his ruined album ticks away, the King of the South is realizing that the ultimate threat isn't outside his gates, it's already sleeping inside his house. The moment that raw, agonizing audio file broke through the secure walls of underground forums and hit mainstream social media platforms, a digital shockwave tore through the rap ecosystem, causing instantaneous system glitches across major servers. This was no longer a standard celebrity dispute, it was a total digital system collapse. Within minutes, the viral hashtag T.I. crying began trending worldwide, racking up millions of hysterical searches as fans and critics alike watched the undisputed King of the South suffer an absolute mental breakdown in real time. The internet didn't just listen, it completely went into a state of severe panic, realizing that the bulletproof armor of one of hip-hop's most articulate legends had been permanently shattered. Look at how fast the culture began taking sides as verified insider accounts leaked screenshots of a frantic, emergency text exchange between top-tier executives at Grand Hustle Records and Empire Distribution. One high-profile industry insider tweeted, "The T.I. leaked tape is 100% authentic. This is an absolute catastrophe. Grand Hustle is in a state of total structural panic behind the scenes." 50 Cent bypassed the recording booth entirely and successfully hacked into T.I.'s emotional core. This is psychological warfare at a level hip-hop has never witnessed since the mid-90s. On TikTok, massive commentary channels started breaking down the audio frequency of T.I.'s voice, highlighting the exact second his hyper-confident masculine ego completely ruptured under the pressure of 50 Cent's unrelenting digital blitzkrieg. But as the entire world was reeling in absolute disbelief over T.I.'s private tears, an even darker, infinitely more sinister secondary reveal dropped that completely flipped the entire narrative on its head. The crying audio was merely the bait. High-level cybersecurity insiders have just confirmed that the highly paid informant hiding inside the Harris family inner circle did not just leave a recording device running during T.I.'s emotional collapse. That was just a tactical distraction to cover up a cold-blooded corporate execution. While T.I. was weeping over his shattered multi-city stadium tour and ruined brand sponsorships, the traitor inside his household allegedly used biometric access to open T.I.'s private home safe in Buckhead and completely cleaned out a highly classified digital hard drive. We are talking about a drive containing a decade's worth of unreleased masters, secret financial tax records, and highly sensitive non-disclosure agreements that were never supposed to see the light of day. This is where the second unexpected twist lands like a multi-million-dollar grenade right into the heart of T.I.'s remaining empire. Insider intelligence reveals that 50 Cent did not just buy up T.I.'s debt leverage. He has reportedly partnered with a massive, multi-billion-dollar global streaming giant to produce an immediate, unscripted docuseries tentatively titled The Fall of the South. The hard drive stolen from T.I.'s private safe has allegedly been handed directly to 50 Cent's legal and production team at G-Unit Film and Television. This means that every single sensitive allegation from 2021 that T.I. desperately tried to bury, every hidden financial vulnerability, and the raw, unedited footage of his family's most embarrassing legal standoffs have been compressed into a highly polished, streaming-friendly format. The corporate plot behind this is terrifyingly brilliant. The streaming giant has reportedly scheduled the global premiere of this devastating exposé for the exact same day Kill the King is set to hit digital platforms on June 26, 2026. 50 Cent is deliberately timing this release to ensure that the moment T.I. attempts to upload his final, triumphant musical statement, the global news cycle will be completely drowned out by a multi-part documentary exposing the darkest, most carefully guarded secrets of his entire private life. T.I.'s legal team is currently panicking at a federal level, frantically trying to file an emergency midnight injunction to block the broadcast, but industry power players claim the damage is already absolute. The transition from a legendary retirement party into a literal career funeral is happening right before our eyes. If the boogeyman of New York can completely dismantle a 25-year legacy using an active corporate spy inside T.I.'s own bloodline, it raises a chilling new question that has the entire industry shivering in fear. How can T.I. even attempt to launch a counterstrike when his own private sanctuary is entirely compromised and his greatest secrets are already loaded into his enemy's firing chamber? Keep your eyes completely locked onto the screen, because the public explosion that followed this corporate revelation has just forced the rest of the entertainment industry to pick a side in a war that is spiraling completely out of control. The moment that agonizing audio file of Clifford Harris weeping broke through the digital floodgates, it didn't just trend. It completely fractured the global hip-hop community into two fiercely warring factions, igniting an unprecedented ideological war across the internet. We are witnessing a total system shock. For the past 12 hours, the entire culture has been locked in a vicious debate, unable to process the terrifying reality of seeing a 25-year street icon completely dismantled without a single shot being fired. Look at your screens right now and ask yourself, has the game completely lost its soul, or is this just the ultimate masterclass in modern corporate warfare? The digital battlefield is bleeding raw emotion. Underneath every major hip-hop channel, the comment sections have mutated into an unmanageable war zone. On one side stands the unyielding army of street purists fiercely defending T.I.'s legacy under the banner of #TeamTip. They are flooding the internet with classic tracks, arguing that 50 Cent has violated the absolute most sacred, unwritten laws of human decency. A prominent user named Atlanta_Kingpin_99 posted a viral comment that has already racked up 200,000 likes, stating, "What 50 Cent is doing isn't hip-hop. It's a calculated, demonic psychological execution. Weaponizing a man's family, buying up his independent debt, and leaking his private tears to destroy his retirement album is pure corporate bullying." Clifford built the platform these new executives are eating off of, and to see him done like this is a tragedy. T.I.'s loyal fan base is screaming for blood, calling for a total boycott of 50 Cent's upcoming television projects, and demanding that Atlanta Street Elements permanently ban the G-Unit mogul from stepping foot in the city. But on the opposing side stands an equally massive, completely unsympathetic internet army riding with #Team50. They are relentlessly mocking T.I.'s emotional collapse, weaponizing his son King Harris's recent Pikachu onesie booking photo and turning T.I.'s own words against him. A user named G-Unit Forensic shot back in a trending thread, "Y'all are crying for a man who spent 2 decades calling himself a king and claiming he was untouchable." T.I. brought his private life into the light for reality TV checks, and he put a target on his own back by naming his final project Kill the King. 50 Cent didn't sneak attack him. 50 just played real-world chess. If you can't stand the heat of the digital era, take the crown off your head. The audio doesn't lie. Clifford got outsmarted. The fallout has completely paralyzed the music industry infrastructure. High-level reports indicate that major radio syndicates across the Deep South have officially enacted an immediate, quiet blackout on T.I.'s final album singles out of sheer panic that broadcasting his music could incite physical violence outside their concrete studios. Elite club promoters in Atlanta have halted VIP bookings for both entourages, completely altering the city's nightlife landscape as major executives take immediate cover. Even hip-hop's most powerful commentators are panicking on live broadcasts. DJ Academics went live to an emergency audience of over 150,000 concurrent viewers, frantically screaming into his microphone. This is the most dangerous situation hip-hop has faced since the mid-90s. We have leaked audio of an absolute pioneer crying over his financial ruin, real-world corporate spies in the camp, and rumors of a stolen federal wiretap drive. If someone doesn't step in to mediate this between T.I. and 50 Cent right now, Atlanta is going to witness an absolute catastrophe on live television. Meanwhile, the legendary Rick Ross broke his silence during an intense, high-profile radio interview on Morning Grind Atlanta, dropping a subtle yet chilling warning that has sent shockwaves through the executive boardrooms. Look, man, I love Clifford. He's a king who shaped this culture. But when you start talking about corporate blockades, stolen hard drives from private safes, and a grown man weeping for his legacy, the temperature of the room changes. This isn't entertainment anymore. This is an organized execution of a black independent empire, and the consequences are going to be permanent. But just as the public was drowning in this wave of pure madness, 50 Cent decided to fuel the controversy further. He uploaded a video to his stories showing a mock, gold-plated plaque dedicated to T.I.'s leaked audio, captioned, "First gold record of 2026 for best dramatic performance by an actor. Keep crying, Cliff. The docu-series trailer drops tomorrow." This single statement has pushed the industry to the absolute edge of sanity, leaving millions wondering if T.I. can ever recover from this public humiliation, or if the ultimate devastation is still hiding in the shadows, waiting for the final countdown timer to hit zero. If you think a stolen hard drive, a ruined multi-million-dollar rollout, and the heartbreaking sound of Clifford Harris weeping in total isolation are the absolute peak of this tragedy, you are not prepared for the final, mind-bending matrix of deception that has just been unmasked. This is no longer a rap feud. This is a cold-blooded psychological thriller playing out in real time, and this final twist will completely shatter everything you thought you knew about the Harris family dynamic. As T.I.'s elite, high-powered legal team scrambled in a state of absolute midnight panic to file an emergency federal injunction in Georgia to seize the anonymous web domain hosting that blood-red countdown timer, a fatal administrative error occurred. A single unredacted page from the sealed federal court clerk's office was accidentally uploaded to a public server for less than 60 seconds. But 60 seconds was all it took for digital forensic researchers to capture a detail so deeply sinister it has sent a literal chill down the spine of every major artist in the global music industry. The federal injunction filed by T.I.'s lawyers wasn't just targeting Curtis Jackson or G-Unit Film and Television. The primary individual named as the lead co-conspirator, the individual accused of physically cracking open T.I.'s private home safe in Buckhead and selling the Clifford files to 50 Cent's corporate entity, was none other than T.I.'s own 21-year-old son, King Harris. The sheer psychological horror of this inside betrayal has left the entire hip-hop community in an absolute state of grief and shock. The streets are quietly whispering about the terrifying motive behind this multi-layered family execution. Insider intelligence has just confirmed that following King Harris's catastrophic April 2026 felony arrest in his camo-wrapped Tesla Cybertruck, the young aspiring rapper felt completely abandoned by his father's public stance. Facing severe time in a state penitentiary for controlled substances and weapons violations, King Harris was reportedly approached in total secrecy by high-level corporate fixers acting on behalf of 50 Cent's multi-billion-dollar streaming network. The deal they offered was completely cold-blooded. In exchange for absolute access to his father's private safe and the classified 2017 federal wiretap hard drive, King Harris would receive an unmatchable, multi-million-dollar independent recording contract with G-Unit Records, alongside the most elite, high-priced corporate defense attorneys in New York City to ensure his felony charges are completely wiped from his record. The son literally traded his father's lifetime legacy to buy his own freedom and secure a seat at his father's worst enemy's table. This means that as T.I. was sitting in that Atlanta safe house weeping over his ruined brand sponsorships and canceled stadium tours, the child he was desperately trying to protect from the shadows of his own past was the one who had loaded the weapon and handed it directly to 50 Cent. The countdown timer on the anonymous website is currently ticking down its final, agonizing hours, blinking in blood-red text under the title, "The True Death of the King." As we speak, heavily armed, private tactical security teams have just been spotted setting up an absolute military-grade perimeter around a heavily fortified, undisclosed warehouse location on the dark outskirts of Atlanta. Deep industry insiders are reporting that an emergency, high-stakes midnight meeting has been called behind closed doors, where T.I., 50 Cent, and King Harris are rumored to be heading right now for a final, catastrophic face-to-face confrontation before that timer hits absolute zero. No cameras, no corporate executives, and no police. Just a broken father staring into the eyes of a treacherous son and a remorseless rival. If this meeting goes left, it won't just be the end of an album rollout. It will be a literal historical catastrophe that will permanently alter the hip-hop map forever. The red lights are flashing, the clock is running out of time, and the ultimate devastation is about to explode. You cannot afford to look away now, because what happens in the next few hours will leave the entire culture permanently scarred. The clock is ticking to absolute destruction, and we need to hear your voice right now. Did King Harris commit the ultimate family sin by trading his father's 25-year legacy for recording contract and freedom, or is T.I. finally paying the ultimate price for his own chaotic past? Are you standing with Atlanta under hashtag Team Tip, or are you riding with the digital godfather under hashtag Team 50? Flood the comment section below with your theories right now because we are monitoring it live. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you don't miss our emergency breakdown the absolute millisecond that blood-red countdown timer hits zero. Stay alert!